By the President of the CIHT, Mr. David Gibby, who will propose a toast to the institution's guests.
Thank you, whoever who's doing that. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I hope you're enjoying the event so far, because now it is time for the President's speech, the speech you always look forward to the most. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. I wondered how that would go. Thank you. I'll only give you 10 minutes on the finer workings of the institution. In the past, when I've sat in the audience, I've often wondered, who writes this stuff for the President? Yeah. Dan and the team at Britannia Walk do offer to help, but I can tell you, it is largely the President's own work. There is, of course, an expected content and format to follow, but I have decided to go off-piste. After all, I've been on it enough over the years. But don't worry, Ringway. My speech has been vetted by Dan, or at least the bits I sent him have. So you're going to get a few personal reflections, followed by some important messages about the institution, during which I would particularly ask for your attention. I will conclude with some thanks, as I would not be lucky enough to be president without the help of a lot of people. As a child, believe it or not, I had no ambition to be president of CIHT. It will not surprise some of you that I first wanted to be a train driver. Didn't know they were that popular. Maybe I should have gone there. Later, my ambition was to be a footballer. However, by the time I got to the age of 35, I realized Alex Ferguson was not going to discover me. It was about then that I came to this great annual event of ours for the first time. I have to admit, I did think it must be a daunting prospect to stand up and speak in front of nearly 2,000 people, and I can assure you it still is. In those days, the President was always male. I'm very pleased that has changed, and that I will be followed by another excellent female president, Sue Sharland, next year. In the meantime, since my inauguration in June, I have had the great privilege of being the president of the Chartered Institution of Highways and Transportation. So here I am on one of the best days of my life, up there with the birth of my children, my wedding day. That's the second time, of course, darling. That line always gets a laugh. I don't know why. The 26th of May, 1999, Nou Camp Stadium, Barcelona. I remember looking up at the scoreboard in the 89th minute, seeing Bayern Munich 1, Manchester United 0, and thinking I'm going to get so much stick when I get back to work on Friday. But then it all changed. Probably the best 3 minutes of my life. Some people felt sorry for Bayern. Well, almost. Final one. Millennium Stadium, Cardiff. Wales v France. Grand Slam decider. The roof's closed. Catherine Jenkins has sung the national anthem. The crowd are singing Saucepan Vac and Bread of Heaven. And your French finance director is sat beside you. And when Martin Williams went over for the try that effectively sealed it, he was off. I must get the train, he muttered. Not even an au revoir. The rugby aficionados amongst you will realise that that was in 2008. I didn't get invited in 2012. But I think I can point out that neither the Ringway nor the CIHT hospitality policies would necessarily prevent me going again. Right. The theme for my year is making the journey. Viv, my wife, and I have enjoyed making the journey to a number of branches so far. We are looking forward to more visits in the new year when I shall continue making my journey as president. So I'm not going to talk about journeys today. After all, some of you are here for a trip rather than a journey. They're already on the trip, they haven't caught up yet. Instead, I want to talk about three issues: branches, involvement, and influence in government. We have decided to reorganise CIHT from the current 18 branches in the UK to 12 regions. I'm not going to cover all the reasons why, but clearly we want to provide a consistent service to all our members. The branches have always been seen to have a key role in supporting our corporate plan and in raising, both regionally and locally, the profile of CIHT and the highways and transportation industry. A working group, headed by Vice President Steve Rousel, is working with the branches on the implementation of the changes. I urge you all to work with Steve over the coming months to make it a success. The institution is lucky to benefit from fantastic support at the branch level, and we want that to continue, and indeed increase, with more of our members getting involved. I can't remember who it was, but one famous president, it might have been Jackson, Tarrant, Gillam or Alistair, said, "Ask not what your institution can do for you, ask what you can do for your institution." So we would like to see more involvement. That includes our corporate partners, those in local and central government, and members from educational establishment. And it's not just financial support I'm talking about here. Our partners are very generous already. Not that we would say no to more support. What I mean is support at a regional and a branch level, particularly in allowing our members time to get involved with CIHT. This helps us and you to engage more with politicians and decision makers. We need to continue to make the case for transport at all levels of government. To do that, we need a strong institution that is a respected voice of the profession. Our core strength is, of course, our members, and I'm pleased to say that our membership continues to grow. The #Journeys campaign continues to be a great success, and we are very pleased to have our 13,000th member, Antonetta Horbury, with us for lunch today. However, one can never stand still, and we must continue to grow as an institution, which is where I would like some help from the table hosts, please. There are around 170 of you, and we know who you are. It is almost certain that you will have at least one guest on your table who is not a member. Can I ask you to take up the challenge of persuading them of the benefits of joining CIHT and acting as their sponsors, please? I don't want any of you to feel left out, so I have a challenge for the rest of you as well, and I'll come on to that in a minute. Just last month, the institution held a skills summit, and amongst the speakers was John Hayes, the Minister of State for Transport. And incidentally, that was the third time I have met him in recent months. Apart from transport, he is also passionate about apprenticeships. I'm very proud that this year has seen CIHT introduce a new graduate membership grade, and that we have welcomed our first apprentices as student members. This means we are now able to support people from across the industry, regardless of where they are on their career journey. We must encourage more people to start a career journey in highways and transportation. To improve as a sector, we need to encourage people from all parts of our society and provide a more diverse and inclusive workforce. All of you can help with this. All of you are role models. Or maybe all. All of you can be a mentor to someone at work. All of you can offer advice and guidance to the sons and daughters of relatives, friends, or neighbours. All the political parties finally seem to recognise the importance of highways and transportation to the economy and the nation's health and well-being. I would go as far to say, as your country needs you. I was going to grow a moustache for that, but I decided against it. So please do something to help. Apart from John Hayes, I have met another dozen or so MPs since September from across the political spectrum. CIHT attended the main party conferences where we launched Making the Journey, a manifesto for transport. The manifesto has been very well received, but if you want to learn more about the party conferences and my night in a cell, you will have to visit my blog on the CIHT website. Don't worry, it wasn't a real cell. At a national level, CIHT is becoming more and more influential. We are now at the very centre of discussions that affect our industry. However, we need to do more, especially at a regional and local level. It has been a good period for investment in transport infrastructure. It looks like we will have the great uncertainty we all want and have consistently called for in the years ahead. But resilience, maintenance, and our local roads remain a concern. Stephen's referred to that already. On March the 10th, the subject for our National Conference 2015 will be Making Local Transport Work. I hope many of you will join us for that. So that if there is one message I want you to take away from today, it is think big. Branches, involvement, and influence in government. I said at the start that I'm privileged to be in this position, and in conclusion, I need to thank a few people. Firstly, Sue Percy and everyone at Britannia Walk, the Board of Trustees, Council, and those past presidents and chief executives who have been generous in their advice and guidance. This is a very rewarding but also very demanding position, and I could not do all I do for CIHT without the fantastic support I get from Ringway. While I'm enjoying myself, others in Ringway and Eurovia have to cover for me. Some would probably say they haven't noticed the difference. So thanks to all my colleagues in Eurovia and Ringway, and particularly to Scott Waldrop. Some of you may also know that my father was a great influence on my career and my life as a whole. Sadly, he is no longer with us, but Mum, now well past her 21st, 31st, 41st birthdays, I'll stop there. She's still capable of giving me a clip round the ear. My mum is here, along with my brother, sister, their spouses, and my two sons, and I'm really pleased they're here. I'm incredible. Appreciate that. You haven't recognised I missed out one. I'm incredibly lucky to have such fantastic family support, and without my wife Viv, I would not achieve anything. Lastly, can I say thank you to all of you. Thank you for giving me the honour of being your president. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being a good audience. And thank you for making this such a great industry to work in. Thank you. And now can I ask all CIHT members present to please be upstanding and join me in a toast to our guests.